Hazel time. Woo! Oh crap!
Go
I
get
don't
dice.
have dice.
Nah,
I need dice.
yeah. I don't. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just in
Sorry.
case. It's okay. I'm just gonna. Hi, everybody. Hey, we have sound now, and we're really excited. Also, our recording software sucked before. I was just talking to the people about how our recording situation maybe is now fixed.
Oh.
No, it's all good.
Sorry. I just had to get my dice, folks.
Okay, let's do this. Hazel. Hi.
Let's go. Hi. I'm Hazel. I haven't been on here in a while.
Of
Did
course.
you all miss me?
So Hazel is with us. This is a kind of a mini downtime session for her. We were curious as to what Hazel has gotten into in the, I would say, probably week and a half or so. It hasn't been that long in game time that she's been from the party. So
yeah. How long has it been in game time?
Going on 2 weeks. It hasn't been long.
About
So
like 4 days.
So yeah, it's been about 14 days, not quite. Yeah, it hasn't even. No, it's all right.
Oh, okay.
Video audio kind of juttered in and out, I think, with your connection and my connection, but it hasn't been that long. That's the thing. Like, they parted company. You guys parted company at the foot of the ruins, and so what you actually wound up doing is you knew that you needed to head toward the Gray Valley, which is northeast of your location. It's several days' journey. You're faster transformed. So you spent the first couple of days running as much as you could, taking breaks when only necessary. And then on your third night in camp, that same barn owl comes to you and lands on your shoulder, the same one that Camilla had sent the first time.
Oh, does the owl
not
have
that
a
you're
name?
aware of.
I forget. Okay. Then I'm going to call you pumpkin pie.
Is it like Jester's yarn ball? It's the whole, like, if you're not caught up on Critical Role, she named him Moorbounder yarn ball, and I was like, that, yeah, I could see that. Okay, it doesn't seem to have any reaction to it, but it does stay with you. This.
Hey there, PP. How's it going?
It just hoots and, but it actually doesn't go up in the tree. It's content to settle down with you, but it doesn't seem to ever sleep, even during the day. So you're being watched.
That's cool.
Get the sensation. Couple more days pass.
Right.
Yeah.
I think she'll just talk to the owl and like offer it food.
What do you offer
from her
it?
Stuff. What food does it? Well, I guess she has like rations, and I think at this point I don't have really any sweets left anymore.
Ooh.
They would be quite bad. So like just, I don't know, Breast probably has some candy.
There's
or something.
Some like hard wrapped candy in there that maybe tastes more like a lozenge at this point. It's still sugar. I don't know if that stuff can go bad, but you know.
Yeah, but it's an owl, so I'll offer it.
It actually kind of turns its head at what you offer it, and it flies off. And about a half an hour later, it brings you back a rabbit, and then drops a couple of mice at its own feet and starts tearing into them.
Holy shit!
Big
nice.
rabbit.
I cooked the rabbit. I would mention then, like, the next time we rest, I go out hunting and I bring back a rabbit for the owl.
And then when you come back, this time it's probably back a deer. Yeah, I see how this is going to work. Fucked up. Oh, shit.
We're just trying to outdo each other.
So you guys spend the next couple of days together. It's nice to have the company. It does remind you of the better days that you'd spent in the Parchwood. But you're starting to tread north. You kind of have to get out of the way a few times, either out of the way of patrols from the Arms of Amon or the Singornian Wardens, or just travelers on the road. You don't really want to deal with them. And then on your...
Yeah, I'll just look to the wilderness.
On your 6th night of camping, you get hit with this sensation, and you all of a sudden can smell a couple of things. You can smell the deep woods. There's a running river nearby, and then you get the distinct scent of bristly fur and animal musk, and you know that Camilla is close.
Ooh.
Okay.
You
actually almost run right into them. Them being Camilla and Mizrae. They kind of almost materialize out of the woods. You had no idea which direction they were going to be coming from. They made no sound whatsoever. You're used to that from Camilla and from Mizrae separately, but together like this, you're like, badass assassins. Oh god, we're gonna die.
Oh my gosh, you guys! I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Hands up. It's not. They both look at each other. Not like that. Plans have changed.
And then I was just gonna jump up and hug Camilla, but I think like when she's like goes into like I don't know serious mode, then I like also try to hold it back and like serious face on. Yeah, like kind of like the like joy of seeing them again. Like I'll put that off for later. Now it's business time.
Yeah, and they definitely seem to be full business mode. Mizrae actually has a pretty fresh wound that's been bandaged on her upper left arm. It's been taken care of, and they are wearing all their gear. They're traveling light. And Mizrae tells you that things have changed, but they shouldn't talk about it here. They're actually going to continue, and you need to come with them east to the area near the Foramir Basin, which if you are not familiar with it, dear viewer, listener, that is in the southeastern section or the central eastern section of Taldore, which is where Hazel got word that Camilla and Mizrae had been tracking cultists in that area. Okay.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Then we should go. So we're going to set off, and they both transform and don't wait for you.
Okay. I also transform if I still have a transformation left and like try to
It's
keep up.
It's not too hard to keep up with them. Mizrae is a little startled by how large you are. There's a moment of like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
She's the one who hasn't seen it. Camilla has seen it, but yeah. There was that moment of like, what the fuck? It's just almost like bare eyes. Well, you're bigger than she is. Which is terrifying.
Oh.
No! Can you hear me?
Oh, you're frozen for me.
Okay. No, I was just saying that
I can hear you again.
You're bigger than either one of them. So it's something to keep in mind. Because it's now... there's this moment of acknowledgement. Like, okay. And then they just go bolting. Am I frozen again? No!
No, 1 second. I'll just try to like quickly...
After all of the technical difficulties I've put us through. No worries. Even if I just have your audio. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties.
Sorry for the problems.
I've got you back.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I can hear you again.
So you guys, there's very little time to stop, and you actually make really good ground, and then you wind up after the second day. They don't really come out of transformation. They come out of it as little as possible. And so that chance to talk, you can tell that they're worried. That they're concerned, that they're rushing for a purpose.
Right.
you eventually wind up coming to this camp. You can see that they've set up this kind of makeshift camp. It's on the banks of the Tundrun River, which is kind of southwest of the Faramir Basin. And this is the point where they both finally come out of transformation. They're exhausted. Like, if they were actual PCs in a D&D game, they would probably have 2 levels of exhaustion. They have been, and you would too, actually. You've just been booking it this entire time. Because, unfortunately, you have so many powers at your behest as Lycans and Blood Hunters, but strong transportation magic is not one of them.
Yeah. I try to show it as little as possible, as much as I had it as I can, like try to power through it, but I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
They make camp, stoke the fire, set up tents that they've stashed away, and you're actually making camp under this huge tree that you see in the middle of this swamp. There are some, and you kind of see there are some posts of old buildings that the swamp has kind of reclaimed over the many, many years. You don't know what this used to be. Neither one of them seems super interested in trying to figure that out. And Misery's building the fire. Camilla's putting the tent up.
Okay.
She sits down hard on the ground. Okay. So, I think we're safe here for now. It's not good. It's not good.
What? It's not good?
We've,
Tell me.
So, we got word from, and you remember the name Teresa, you met her. She's the current head of the Claret Order. You guys met them, her and her right hand Yorick in Kymel, actually, at their little rundown headquarters that they were using. She tells you they visited her, and then they got reports that cultists are actually ramping up attacks on Lycans, and it's now their job to shut them down permanently.
On Blood Hunters,
Lycans in general,
Lycans
although
in general?
there have been some targeted attacks on other members of other Blood Hunter orders. And Misery actually, even
non-Lycan
the
Blood
the
Hunters?
attacks have gained a wider scope.
And their only objective is to kill them?
You met
Or what do they do
Quentin,
with them?
right? The prisoner that they'd had.
Right.
Yeah. We
Did
finally
I talk to you?
got him to talk completely. Mazui, the Yuan Ti leader of this cult, seems to think that he will regain his humanity. He's a pureblood Yuan Ti, and Misery comes over, spits on the ground, and says, "Fucking bastard." Goes back to building the fire. She's not really in the mood to talk. You're mostly going to be dealing with Camilla in the first bit of this.
Yeah. Wait, he's a UNT
Pure blood.
and he wants
He
to
has
become a
human in him somewhere.
Right. But I don't know, probably don't know much about the UNT, but I thought I don't know, being a pureblood is something good in their society, so why would this person want to become human?
They're considered the lowest caste.
Oh,
and Hazel wouldn't know that.
Know
Legitimately, Hazel would not know that. Camilla just says, they're because they are not...
It would be cool to be a snake, so...
Yuan Ti pureblood doesn't mean pure Yuan Ti. It's actually kind of like a jest, a poke at their human or humanoid genes.
Oh, so pureblood is actually more human than other UNT.
Because they actually look... And you guys have encountered a couple of Yuan Ti purebloods. There was one dead in the holding cells in Juren Village. She had been killed, and you never found out what had happened there. But they look largely human, but they have like patches of scales poking through their skin, and usually their eyes are more reptilian.
Right.
Sometimes they have forked tongues, but for the most part, they can, with proper clothing, pass for human. In Yuan-Ti society, and Camilla says they're often used as the grunts. They're looked at as less than because they don't have the pure Yuan-Ti snake-like features, and they're almost used as slaves. So if he is wanting to find a way to be human versus a slave in Yuan-Ti society, then I can't say that I would completely blame him if I were in the same situation.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's just like, what? Do you know how? Like, do they want to use blood magic, some sort of ritual? Or does it have something to do with a god? A lot of things around us usually have something to do with the god at some point.
He's the leader of this cult of the Great Hunter. Yeah, which for you should be ringing alarm bells.
Do you know? Yeah, do you know anything about the deity they're worshipping?
They think that if they can raise the Great Hunter, it will earn them humanity and a place in the world, and that they've actually managed to bring other shapeshifters and wares to their side who want to be rid of their curse. Like Mizui does. And blood hunters are the enemy. If we don't see our fates, especially lichens, as a curse, if other blood hunters of other orders support us, we are all cast and painted with that same brush. So and Quentin comes from this mindset of believing that, I'm sure you talked to him, crazy bastard, that we should use our powers for a better fate. We should, be doing other things other than being kept hidden.
Right, and that is in exact opposite to what these cultists want, because they just want to get rid of it.
They just want to get rid of it and go back to being whatever their version of normal is.
I mean, it's a desire I can understand. But definitely not at the cost of their methods.
And their methods involve killing and mutilating the bodies of lichens and using them for some profane rituals that I'm sure involve blood, because it all involves blood. What crazy ritual doesn't?
Yeah. That's definitely something that needs to be stopped.
We've tracked them to near here. The last time we spied on the caves that they'd been using, they'd moved. So we were hoping you'd want to join us.
Yes. Do we have an estimation on their numbers? How many there are?
Mizui has done one very smart thing, and they never stay in one place for too long, and they're never all together. The other problem is that we've never seen him.
Big as a group.
Quentin's seen him.
So, I don't remember, how did Quentin survive the attack? Why did they let him live, or did he escape?
Mizrae at that point, you were not told this, comes over, sits down beside the two of you, and starts pulling out crossbow bolts to
you're stuck for me.
Sharpen them very aggressively. Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
what?
she's sharpening.
Oh,
yeah, she's like angry whittling at this point. She's very, very fed up. She says, "Yeah, that fucking bastard. He was the patsy. He was the bait. Mizui got to him a long time before. He led those lichens to their deaths and was left alive."
Oh, so they tricked
No,
him
he's fully bought into it.
into following
He's
them.
fully bought into it. And it's that whole... I can't say he's wrong on the sense that we should be more visible.
Mm.
And I'm not going to speak out of turn because Camilla's your mentor, but let's just say that we don't necessarily agree with any approach anyone's had. So I don't know what that means for us and what that means for the Order, but, you know, Lycans have always been the lowest of the low in the Order anyways. I don't know. I'm not leadership material.
Yeah. I also don't really know what to think of it at this point. I've seen a lot and experienced a lot, and that kind of has shaken my opinion on the matter a bit, but I also don't really know what to think at this point. But I think we can all agree that when they're just killing randomly and just killing innocents, that they need to be taken out, no matter what
Agreed.
they believe.
And you see this look pass between the two of them. And Mizrae stands up and starts stoking the fire again. Sorry, I lost track of where my notes were. And Camilla actually stands and approaches you, her face very serious. And she says, "It's past time for this." And she pulls out a dagger. It's got a bright silver blade, the pommel decorated with bloodstone and emeralds, handles wrapped in this really thick black leather. It looks like animal hide of some kind, like wild animal hide. And she motions for you to stand up.
I stand up.
You should be part of the Order.
That's all I've wanted for a really long
overdue.
time.
She puts both hands on your shoulders and spins you gently so that you can face the fire. And you watch Mizrae reaches into a pouch, and she's got a ton of them, and tosses what looks like a handful of sand on the fire, and it flares up this bright red, and it kind of backlights the whole scene. And Camilla says, "Normally we would do this in the hall of the Grey Valley, but our home is polluted, our ranks are invaded, so it's up to us to finish this and to rebuild."
I understand. I'll do whatever I can.
Are you willing to take the risks that being part of the Order involves?
I think at this point Hazel closes her eyes for a moment and just for a moment just pictures the faces of all of her friends in her mind. Then she takes another deep breath. And then she says, "Yes."
Excellent.
I am.
I would have been shocked if you'd said anything else. Mizrae is standing across from you through the fire, and you watch her put her hand into the fire and doesn't pull back. And she...
Sorry,
she puts her hand in the fire.
The
and she's reaching for you. This isn't it's a campfire. It's not very big. It's just tall. No!
Oh, sorry, you're cutting out for me again. Why is voice so shitty right now?
Okay. So she puts her hand in the
talking.
fire and reaches for you to pull you forward.
Okay. I do that.
It doesn't
also
burn.
reach in the fire?
It's almost cool.
Yeah.
And Camilla's still behind you. And Mizrae says, "Tell us what you see. I need you to roll religion with advantage."
Religion. Okay. Oh, I get to look at Hazel's character sheet again. Okay. I'm sure my religion is great. +1. Okay.
14. Okay.
14.
There is this kind of odd moment. Sorry, I'm missing my thing. Oh, there it is. Okay. There's this moment where you are pretty sure nothing's going to happen. You're like, I don't know why I'm starting this fire. But then there's a second where your vision kind of laser focuses. And you hear 2 and then 4 very loud footsteps, like heavy feet. And it shakes the ground underneath you a little bit. You watch actually pebbles bounce against the, on the dirt, on top of the dirt near you. And you turn your head and it's like turning through something thick and slow. Everything is slowed down. And you see those yellow eyes, and you can smell that warm breath and the scent of a fresh kill. And the head comes down to look at you. This huge cat.
Is it the same cat I've seen before, or at least
you can see it fully now? It's a sleek, kind of orange and black, striped. It basically would almost look like a huge tiger, but almost with distorted features. It looks like a beast. Pure beast. There's nothing humanoid there at all. And he's probably 25 feet tall. He's not alone. There's one other person with him. Tall man, not as tall, but large. And probably bigger than a Goliath, giant-sized almost. Bronze skin, shock of salt and pepper hair, huge beard, braided with shells and little gems and seaweed and just like all kinds of raffia and everything that's from the ocean. And he's got bright blue robes on. And then on the ground between the two of them is a mask, gone dark, the jewels on it shattered. Mm-hmm. And the great hunter bends his head again, real close. You can, like, the breath coming out of him actually makes your hair kind of fly back. You can imagine being breathed on by a dragon. It's like
Holy
that.
Shit.
And he says, the ones I could gather. It takes a great deal of effort to pull them all together. Salah, you have come so far. So tell me, what is next?
I'm going to become stronger so that I can protect the ones I care about. And so I can fight those who stand in my way of achieving that.
And when the reasons are one and the same, the things that threaten you, that make you stronger so you can protect those you care about, what happens when it all leads to one place?
Sorry, what was the question?
It's okay.
Oh,
he basically just
so
asked you
right
what
now.
happens when it all points to one spot, to one place, to one entity.
Then I will go there, and I will kill them
Is
if
that where
necessary.
your story ends?
Well, if I die trying, then that's a lot better than where my story began.
The bronze-skinned man beside him in the blue robes has his arms crossed, and he just kind of chuckles a little bit. He says, I like her. She's, not like your others, Obad. And the cat nods and says, I agree. I made her different. You know you all exist because of me.
Because
I
you
created
us
every
all?
single one of your shapeshifter kin.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some who would thank you for that, and a whole bunch of others who would not.
And that is fair. It used to be that your kind were the protectors, free to roam the forests and the woodlands. But when the world burned, things changed, and you were no longer, I should say, you and your brothers and sisters were no longer seen in such ways. And that is something the world has lost, and it doesn't even know it. I suppose what you do with that information is up to you.
Is someone named Mazui also one of yours?
He is not.
Then why is he trying to bring you back? Or why does he do rituals in your name?
Because he is an
and kill those you created in your
arrogant, ignorant excuse for any animal or humanoid on your world. And the most frightening people of all are the ones who do so with a cause in their heart. Shut him down. You only grow in strength by closing down these avenues to hurt others. You may be part wild creature, as I made you.
By hurting others myself.
You were confused. If you speak of long ago, it is not your fault.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but it seems like killing and hurting others at this point is the only way forward for me. And if that's what's needed to protect those I care about, then I'm fine with that now.
The best warriors are the ones who have done such heinous acts with reticence in their heart. That's okay.
Sorry, you got
Did you miss that last part? No, come back. Audio. What's up?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, he just said the best warriors are the ones who often do the foulest deeds with reticence in their heart. I believe in you.
Thank you.
The tall man beside him stoops down and picks up the mask and hands it out to you. Did you lose me again? No! It's okay.
Yeah.
No, he just, he bends, the taller man, or the tall man beside the Great Hunter, picks up the mask that was on the ground and hands it out to you. Mm-hmm.
He hands me the mask? What?
It's the mask.
Do I recognize the mask? Right.
For your bard friend.
I
would want him to have it.
Is there is there a message I should give him?
He is not here to give a message anymore. He'll know. Just give it to him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'll know. I'll give it to him.
When he got close to you, Hazel, this man, you could smell the ocean. You could hear the crest of waves crash against the rocks. You might as well have been standing on the beach yourself.
Are you... Are you the one who's watching over my friend Elijah?
You know, I wasn't supposed to play favorites, but she always was mine. No!
Damn it! I lost you again after playing favorites.
Yeah, he just said she was always my favorite.
I get why. She's really
top
smart.
Of many things.
And kind.
Wait till you see the book she made.
She really loves books. Like, holy shit.
Oh.
It's super cute.
And you just kind of
okay.
fade, and the last thing you see are those bright yellow eyes. And you snap back into place.
Oh, boy. There we go. Gods again, just like I predicted.
You do.
Do I have the mask?
It feels like
okay.
like as light as a piece of paper. It feels like there's nothing there.
I don't know. I like look to Camilla and Misray like for a bit, like sure what they, I don't know what their expressions are, and then I'll gently put the mask away in my pack.
The mask doesn't seem to throw them, although they're curious. And you actually, Hazel, as you're doing this, you realize your vision is way clearer than it ever has been. Your vision is
my
just
senses are
like
clearer?
you feel like it's super easy for you. And actually, as you look over to the right, about 60 feet off, you see a tiny dragonfly, but you can see every facet of detail on it.
Whoa. Man, did I do drugs again?
Misery actually laughs at that.
I've been in this state before.
And Misery just says, it's the gift you're given as part of the ritual. Hazel, you have an advantage permanently on all perception checks. All perception checks.
All perception, including sight. Sweet. Then I can finally stop asking, do I get advantage on this or not if I use my smell or something? So I just
60 feet of dark vision.
Advantage. Yay. Yes! Finally!
It only took level 10 to level 11 for that to happen.
It only took me to level 10, but I can finally see in the dark. That's it. I'm done.
That's it. No more. Bye, guys. See you later.
I can see in the dark. I can now do everything.
As you're kind of like in awe at all of this, you see Mizrae focus attention behind you on Camilla, and you do feel coldness at your throat like a blade. Okay.
I don't move.
And Camilla just says very quietly, "We of the Claret Order, bound in blood, bonded through purpose, believe in trust first. Do you trust me?"
Yes.
She very carefully, not the flat end of it, almost just the barest tip of the blade, drags it across your throat. Not enough to kill, just enough to score a real thin line. You can feel that pinch, that twinge of pain. It's not much. And the blood starts to slowly drip down. And it's like time kind of slows down for a minute. And there's one drop of blood that lands on your hand, and you watch it actually sizzle for a second. And then it smokes. And the smoke swirls and it joins the campfire smoke, and it starts to create this column in the air. And your vision goes from super laser intense focus to starting to get blurry and swim a little bit. And then you shift. Yeah.
I transform.
So yeah, can you hear me okay? Okay. You transform
now I can
and
hear
you
you,
watch Mizrae and Camilla do the same thing.
Yeah.
And you just know one purpose at this point, and it's to go hunt. Okay.
Okay. Then I'll take to the woods and
that's what they were waiting for you to do. The entire night is just running in the woods and like the running river and the call of an owl off somewhere in the distance and the feel of a deer succumbing to your power and your prowess. And when you wake up the next morning, you are asleep. You've been on your little bedroll by the fire. And Mizrae and Camilla look at you. And Mizrae nods and she says, "Welcome, sister."
Thank you.
You are now a full member of the Claret Order. You can, during a 24-hour period, shift as many times as your dexterity modifier.
Sorry, did you just say I can shift as many times
as your dexterity modifier in a 24-hour period? 5, yeah.
Sweet, which is
You're
5.
not restricted to 2 anymore. Hazel's just gonna be in tiger form all the time.
Wait, but like the length
right.
is still the same. Like
it's still 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
But you can do this more now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can almost do a full hour. You're just gonna randomly walk around and spook people in tiger form.
That sounds like a good use of my new powers. A very responsible thing to do.
Wake up Araxis that way one time by just jumping on him. Oh God!
Yeah. Catch me and then
really good.
Oh no! Don't do that.
So they take you over the course of the next couple of days in just honing your skills, using your new senses, using your increased ability to transform, and you guys actually make your way to shadowing the cultist group, and then you plan your attack. So you find them in a cave, and there's this weird moment as the three of you are behind a boulder, and you know that there's a group of them up ahead, and now you can see in this dark cave, so yay! You hear the...
Oh my god. So happy.
Give a halfling dark vision and that's it. That's all they need. They're fine. Yeah.
I can see forever now.
You can hear the drips, of water in this cave. It's kind of like damp in here. And Mizrae's making this motion to the two of you so that you guys can do this flanking maneuver that she's taught you in the last couple of days. And Hazel, you get this weird little, it's almost like a tickle in the back of your head. And for a second you swore you heard Neuraxis.
Oh my god, what if it goes even farther than I thought, or nah, probably just my imagining. I'm sure Neuraxis is fine. I'm sure he's not
Camilla
super
goes,
worried right now or something. Yeah.
And the three of you on Mizrae's move rush out. And you get into a fight with this small group of cultists. They're wearing strange, bow-like, not crossbow, but longbow symbols on their faces. They have lines around their throats. They're shocked. They're totally surprised when you guys come out from behind the boulder, but they fight with a ferocity that you weren't expecting. And the battle is really brutal. You guys are all ripping into them with teeth and claws. Mizrae transforms as quickly as you do, but Camilla stays in her humanoid form for a while. And you actually, Hazel, at one point, you spin around to rake the guy who came up behind you and tried to stab you and missed. And another person came up behind you and hit you over the head with a mace. Enough to hurt quite a bit. But it doesn't kill you. It rings your bell some. And then you get that sensation again of why is Neuraxis here? Confused. It's a concussion, weird moment memory thing. And then once the...
Sorry, I'm a bit busy right now.
Once all of the cultists are dead, you guys pick through the remains and you find this piece of paper. Camilla actually finds it and is trying to read it and can't, and calls the two of you over to look at it.
Quick question. Are they using silvered weapons? Okay. Look at the piece of paper.
You have no idea. It's weird symbols and numbers, but they're upside down and sideways and half fractured. And after a couple of minutes, Mizrae says, I think that's a cipher.
I bet if Elijah was here, she could figure it out.
And we can head to wherever they are when you're ready. But we know a few people who could maybe undo this. It's part of we know that they use these as part of a communication system to keep their writings hidden and away from prying eyes, so that even if in a situation like this, if someone were to get a hold of them who can't read it, it doesn't hurt anything. But I think we could break it.
Does it smell like lemonade? Like lemons? Because then I know what to do. But otherwise, I don't know.
There you
That's
go.
The classic. That's the
Sadly,
classic
no.
one. Years of playing puzzle adventure games told me that.
You're staring at the cipher, just trying to make heads or tails of it, thinking that whole thing of oh gosh, I wish Alicia was here. This would be great. And you have this hint. Yeah. It's like a recalled memory almost of walking down a path in darkness, and you hear a roar off in the distance, and you start to run forward toward the noise, and then coming up beside you is Neuraxis. Black wings out, eyes bright red, Forsaken Edge out in both hands, and the blade of that is, the battle axe head of it is glowing gold. And then Alwyn runs up behind the two of you, hammer glowing, shield on his left arm, armor shining, and you look over at him And you realize that's not the same shield he usually carries, and he looks a little different. Like, he's got this kind of, like, not a crown, but like a real royal looking, some kind of like headband decoration on, like a circlet kind of a thing. The word escape. Headband decoration thing. Jesus Christ. And the shield is crazy. It's this huge tower shield. It should weigh 80 pounds. It should be ridiculously heavy, but Oren lifts it up like it doesn't weigh anything. And you notice that there's a handprint on the front of it. It's like sunk into the metal itself, and it glows yellow and then molten red orange and reforms into the shape of an eye. And Oren yells, "Move forward!" And then he seems to, it's like he's talking to the shield, and he says, "What is our foe's main goal?" And then he looks at the both of you, and he says, "It wants revenge. Boring. It thinks we took its treasure." And then Volkar steps up. He's got that thick blonde beard, but it's braided really intricately, and he's got pure black leathers on that almost kind of meld into the cave wall around you. And he opens up this impossibly long scroll, reads a couple of lines, and then he nods. And he says, "I could raise one of those." And you look behind you and you realize that you guys just fought your way through what looks like a small army of Duragar. Dark dwarves. He says, "We could raise an army. I mean, the scroll's telling me I got raised dead available, so we might as well take advantage of it." And just when you think, Alicia's not going to like that, Alicia comes up from behind all of you. Robes a bright blue. Hem of them moving in some kind of like unseen, unfelt wind, and the book in her hands is covered in frost that she doesn't seem to notice. And it creeps like over her arms. It even spills onto the ground a little bit. And she says, "I still have most of my charges. Not fond of raising the dead, but if you want, I could conjure a snowstorm and we could lure it to us." And the creature up ahead that you can't see roars again, and Araxis says, "Then let's do it. This thing can't torment the villages anymore." And the vision fades out.
Do I have something in my hands?
When you looked down in the vision? Yeah, you did. It was a crossbow, and you felt the weight of a quiver on your back. Didn't look like Hunter's Fury, though. It was far more intricate, heavy, too. It was actually like a heavy crossbow, which you normally would not be able to shoot.
Got it. Need to, like, work out.
Build those biceps, yeah.
Get ready.
So Camilla and Mizrae at this point want to go
like,
hunt down the other cultists if you're in.
Right. So I got this vision from looking at the paper. Do I like feel like it's connected to the paper, or that I just had a
when
vision?
When you look down at the paper
time?
again, you still can't make out the cipher, but you realize that if you spent a little time unraveling bits of it, it would make a map. There's just hints of like, if you took some time, and it would take you a little bit, it would start to form a map. You see bits and pieces of topography, almost like embedded in the cipher.
So, okay. So if I would just spend some time focusing on it, I could maybe
or at least a starting
point.
Map. You don't know how extensive the map is.
Okay. So I'll ask them if I can hold on to this, like I can carry it, and whenever there's like a moment of time or so, I'll sit down with the map and try to focus on it again, I guess.
That's fine. We've both had a crack at it, and we can't make heads or tails of it, but neither one of us are students, really, so...
Yeah. Although I'm not 100% sure if this is real because no one made the cool pun after Elijah was talking about casting a blizzard. So, like, I'm not 100% sure if this is not lying to me because if I know my friends, someone would have made a pun
And
about
somehow
that.
a pair of sunglasses landed on everyone's faces.
Yeah, I saw no sunglasses in there, so maybe it's trying to trick me. I'll have to be careful.
Oh, man. So if you're willing to go on a hunting party with them, they're happy to have you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys will go
Let's
off
go.
on your hunting party. Is there anything else that Hazel, that we need to do in this session? Because we can always do another session with Hazel, but I wasn't sure if there was anything in the immediate that you wanted to do.
Right. For like this. Well, I imagine like whenever I told you about it when mainly things like when they make camp, when there's a rest, or when they're like waiting for new clues about the cult, she'll do a couple of things. She'll want to experiment with her alchemy kit that she got. And I think you mentioned that Miss Ray
Yes, she
is skilled in alchemy, so maybe she'll ask her to give her some pointers. And she'll eventually want to like brew some potions that she thinks would aid the party. And I don't know if I don't want to go full Harry Potter, but like maybe ask Camilla if pumpkin pie could somehow deliver a package to the group, because I have Narex's blood, and I'll also ask Camilla if she can show me how to use blood to find out about someone's whereabouts.
Okay.
Like she did with me. Because that is kind of my plan for finding where the group is when I want to rejoin them when our mission here is finished. And yeah, and I also asked like, whether pumpkin pie can deliver a package. I mean, if not, then if we're not in the complete wilderness, if there's a town nearby or something, I'd probably ask if I can quickly go there to mail the package via horses, or however it worked in old-timey times.
She laughs at the name pumpkin pie. She says his name's actually Barnabas, but I like pumpkin pie, so we'll go with that. And you actually get nipped a little bit when you call him pumpkin pie. He kind of like nips at you like, that's not my name, hey.
We can go with pumpkin pie as a cute nickname, but Barnabas will still be the official
smacks
name.
You upside the head a little bit with his big wing and flies on over to Camilla. He says he can take small packages. It would have to be fairly lightweight. He's a bird of prey. He's not really a carrier animal.
Right.
And he doesn't like to be away from me for too long.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I know. Sorry, like using owls for like mail carriage is just silly. Like, who
yeah,
would
really.
think of that?
Why would you do
right?
that? So you can, with Ms. Ray's help,
right.
when you have assistance with this kind of thing, someone who's decently skilled in alchemy, it cuts down on the time to make potions. So a standard healing potion would take you a day. You could do 2 in a day with her help. So consider it like a standard takes without assistance, a standard takes a day, a greater takes 2 to 3 days, depending on the conditions, of course, that you're brewing in. And this also realizing that you have to have a block of time undisturbed, because the stuff has to sit in like a pot or a cauldron and brew. So you can't really do this on the road. So if you were to sit up at night, like on guard duty, you could do one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at the list of potions that I can make with the alchemy kit, and then absolutely. Just talk off stream.
Ms. Ray can also help you start to concoct basic poisons. She's decently good at that. She's been known to craft a poison or 2 in her time, which makes sense. So, given she has an assassin background. So, that's part of it. But yeah, just like I kind of do with Olrin's crafting. We can kind of figure that out a little bit. We'll go through the list and take a look. But yeah, you guys actually, she gives you some pointers, shows you better ways to look for herbs, better ways to kind of like the proper way to bank a fire to get the most heat out of it for certain potions. So she gives you those types of pointers that you can file away for later use. That should also help too. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and then what I'll also do is I've kind of started picking up writing a journal. I think what I might do, that doesn't really work. Yeah, like I probably have some paper or something that I might like have borrowed from Elijah at some point. And, and it just kind of starts, I think, over time when I start to miss my friends, I start writing letters to them, like just with the kind of things I see or what I'm would want to tell them if they were here. But I then guess I don't really decide to send them. It's more like for my own sake. I'm like, man, Ulrich, today we were in this cave and there was this really cool ore and I thought you could do something really cool with that or something like that. Just like the kind of daily observations, but I write them as if I'm talking to one of my friends and addressing them. And yeah, I think that's what I kind of do because I think I'm I'm really happy to be now with Camilla and Misre and learn from them, but I kind of have the feeling we're not, and since our mission is also kind of a bit grim and the mood is probably not it's probably a lot less cheerful and joking around than what I've grown used to with the party. So I imagine nights are probably quiet when we're not planning things or teaching things. So to kind of lighten the mood for myself a bit, I write these letters. And I think after a while I realized that I'm probably writing a lot of letters to Noraxis, and I'm probably also all kind of telling him to be careful and not touch that. But also kind of other stuff. I think especially when I'm more contemplative and I start to think about all of the things I've heard and learned about the gods and those visions I had. I think that's when I'll write to him and talk with him about it because I don't know, I've always felt he gets me a bit more in that regard, or I feel a bit more comfortable opening up to him about these things than maybe to the others a bit. And yeah, and I think that's what I do. And then I'll also want to talk with Camilla, tell her, I don't think we had that much time to catch up last time I met her because it wasn't that long that we were together. So I'll tell her in more detail about all the things that happened. I think I'll leave out the god parts for the most part. I don't think I'll tell her directly oh yeah, by the way, we're descendants of the gods, or we used to work for them and we're actually kind of dead and but we're not, and oh the person who created me created all of the other lichens. Lol. So I think I'll leave those parts out for now. I probably tell her at some point, especially about the lichen, the creation of the lichens, apparently. But I think I'll do that once I have more information on it. Right now, I don't really want to bring it up until we finish this mission.
And they are, Misre and Camilla have some things in common. They are naturally largely stoic people. But Misre has her moments for sure, and you get some glimpses of that. They also occasionally will talk to each other in very low voices when they think you're sleeping. So they're very discreet, and you never see anything, but there is a clear bond between the two of them. And you do actually notice that they are both wearing the exact same leather bracelet on their left wrists. But you see no any other outward signs of their status on a personal level. And
right. There are no snogging sounds while I try to sleep in the background. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I couldn't hear so good.
Exactly.
This is awkward. But once I kind of into it, who knows? Oh, and I'll definitely like keep on reading my romance books, and I'll like definitely show them to Camilla if we like. I think I'll wait with when like Miss Ray. I think I also like want to like have a conversation with Camilla when Miss Ray is maybe off to hunt or something. Like when Camilla and I are just alone in the camp, and I show her my romance books. Ask her, have you read this? Do you know this?
Actually, yes, I have. All of them. A couple of times. Don't tell anyone that.
Oh, and then I think she wants to go into kind of a fan rant, like with what did you think when they were at the castle and they were like trapped together in the dungeon and stuff like. But then like no, and then I'm like no, that's we can talk about that later at length. But I actually have a question. I hope it's not too personal. Like you don't need to answer if you don't want to, but and I like look around to make sure to check that Miss Ray is not here right now at the moment, and ask her how like you've just hinted a bit at yours and Miss Ray's relationship and past, and I was just kind of curious. How did you know first that you kind of had feelings for her in that regard? Like how could you tell that it was going in that direction?
We live longer than a lot of other humanoids. And despite what you may have a perception of me, I didn't fathom staying alone for centuries. And she and I had to work together. And as much as I would love to be able to tell you some sordid tale of shenanigans that, lead to kissing outside in the rain or something, it's actually quite boring.
Oh, that was a good thing
right
in book 25.
I find that sometimes the best commitments happen through shared values and an ability to know that no matter how far apart you are, they are always there for you. So it wasn't one moment, it was a lot of little moments all together that made me realize I wish I could say that she, I saved her life, she saved my life. We've both done that for each other, but it wasn't that like, oh God, I almost died and now I think I love you. It was more, I like this person. I like what she stands for. I wonder if. And it's been that way for years. It's boring, I know.
It's not boring. It sounds beautiful. I I can understand that, I think. Right.
Sorry, it's not easy to
And did you...
talk about something that's not, epic and dramatic.
Not everything has to be epic and dramatic to be
That's
beautiful.
fair.
Right. So like it just kind of built up over time, and it just started feeling a bit, like different and with other people,
Yes.
you know.
I never really had anybody else. It probably won't shock you. I was always more of a loner. And, right? And she just made sense. And, I mean, the biggest, my thought on that end was, well, if she doesn't see me in that same light, then so be it. But that's fine. So I guess I got lucky that she did.
So you just went ahead and told
I saw no
her?
reason to keep beating around the bush about it. And I saw no reason to try to hide it. I had two options. She was either going to show an equal interest or say, nope, sorry, and I move on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you can see Hazel, like, I don't know, seeming a bit distracted and like looking away probably in the campfire for a bit, and like seems to mull something over like very intently for a while. And like probably starts kind of like twiggling her fingers a bit, like kind of absent-mindedly, like she's not really noticing what she's doing. And like, interesting.
I apologize if that's not what you wanted to hear.
No, that's actually weirdly kind of like, I don't know, like it's kind of, I think I'm a bit, I don't know, like in the exact same situation, but like maybe something similar. I think I need to reflect on it a bit more, but these things are complicated. Well, I don't know. Maybe we just make them complicated. Maybe they're not so complicated at all.
I think a lot of people get bound up in their heads about, oh, but what if this and what if that? And quite honestly, we live such dangerous lives. I saw no point in waiting. And I'm better for it.
Yeah. That's really lovely. I think someone should write a book about you two. I would read it.
This is the first time you've ever seen Camilla get super uncomfortable. I mean, like, that's, well, I mean, I'll take the compliment. But we're not book material. Yeah, okay. And she just kind of shuts down. It's like Mizra comes back, got a deer slung over her shoulder, sees Camilla kind of staring at the ground, sees you grinning, and is like, oh, this I have to hear. Camilla just gets up, takes the deer from her, and yeah.
Nothing happened. We were just talking about cookie recipes, that's all.
I don't believe that for a second, but it's cute you think you can lie to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't really think it would work, to be honest. I'm not
It's
really
all
good
right.
at lying. Seriously, I usually just say what pops into my head.
That works. Why don't we make dinner? How's that sound? With
Yay! I'll make dessert.
what?
I don't know. There's probably
Okay.
berries
I
or
was like, you
something.
don't have the Cookie Mansion anymore.
You can find sweet
You got
things in the
one
forest.
hard candy left. It's like half melted into the wrapper. Smells faintly like cat fur. It's fine. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else you wanted to do?
Nah, I think that's probably it for Hazel.
We'll
I
revisit
can't think
Hazel
of anything else
at
for
at a
her.
later date for sure. But we will
Yay!
stop this here then, and you guys will be watching this as a premiere on Twitch in just a few days. So woohoo! And if you're watching it now, thank you so much, you guys. We will
Woo!
see you later.
Yay!